I used to practice Reiki and I really enjoyed it for a time, but I'd like to answer this question about why I no longer practice Reiki and what my experience was with it. First, I'd like to explain a couple of simple basics. When we're calling energy into someone's energy system, it's really important that we understand what that energy is and what its place is in the person's energy system. Now, everyone has a bit of Reiki energy naturally flowing through their system. Similarly, everyone has a little Kundalini flowing through their Reiki system. I've worked with Reiki and I've also worked with Kundalini and I've also worked with Kundalini Reiki. Kundalini Reiki is a bit more balanced than Reiki itself because it brings in both the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies together. However, my higher self made it extremely clear that I was never again to bring either one of these energies through someone's chakra system in the way that most practices are doing it today. The issue happens when we're pulling Reiki or Kundalini energy through someone's system. Most of the time, it overloads the energy system. It floods the system with all of one energy or all of the other or a mix of both. And when this happens, the system goes out of balance with the soul's true resonance. You see, each person has a unique blueprint of energy. There's a little bit of Reiki in that blueprint. There's a little bit of Kundalini. There might be a bit of Arcturian, a bit of Pleiadian, a bit of Sirian, and a bit of who knows what else. And human beings tend to think that we know what's up. And so we're going to put this energy and call it this thing and make this sigil and do all this stuff in order to tap into a specific energy. But what really happens when we do that is our human construct is taking a vast energy, a recipe of energy that has a lot of little different types of energy that makes up that person. It's what makes them, them. It's what makes you, you. It's what makes me, me. And that is a very unique recipe. When we try to micromanage that recipe and we try to bring and flood the system with Reiki or flood the system with Kundalini, we create an imbalance that actually pushes the person's authentic resonance out of their system. So instead of using Kundalini or Reiki, I work with the soul blueprint energy, which contains both of those energies, but a whole lot more other unique energies. And I do this intuitively. Reiki taught me a lot about how to tune in and feel and connect with the subtle energy body and move energy through an energy system. However, it's an incomplete map. So what I do now is I work with the soul blueprint energy. I no longer try to call a specific energy of any kind. I don't work with someone's Pleiadian energy or their Arcturian energy or any specific energy. Instead, I simply connect and target that person's source self energy, the original version of them, the them that existed before this world told them who to be, the true essence of them that existed before Reiki, before Kundalini, before all the energies of the universe. And we simply bring their unique recipe, their blueprint into the body. When we bring in that full blueprint energy, most people discover a hell of a lot about who they are, why they're here, what they're here to do, what it looks like, and the actual steps they need to take in their life. They'll often shift into profound altered states of consciousness where they'll receive a ton of information directly within themselves. And as a facilitator, it's not my job to decide what energy goes where or tune into that. My job is to simply hold a wide enough space that allows their blueprint to amplify within them. As I was first working with the 13 chakra blueprint and tuning into my own blueprint energy, my higher self made it extremely clear that I would never again draw Reiki energy or Kundalini energy into someone's system. The way that people work with these two energies is often the root cause of spiritual psychosis. It puts people in a space of imbalance and disconnects them from their real, true, and whole authentic blueprint. On top of that, many of these energy healing practices are framed completely incorrectly. Facilitators often feel that they are fixing or healing the client, which creates a perceptual alignment of brokenness, reinforcing a pattern of brokenness into the client at the same time, which is extremely damaging. On the other side, many clients are not properly informed and they do not understand that true healing is remembrance within. It is not about being fixed, and the facilitator is simply holding the space to allow the energy to flow. When a client doesn't fully understand this, they approach the facilitator thinking the facilitator is going to heal them or fix them. They take on the perceptual alignment that they are broken and need something else, something outside of them, this Reiki energy or this Reiki facilitator to heal them or fix them. And if that perceptual alignment is there on the client's end, then the client will negate most of their results. The issues will come back, oftentimes worse than before, and it fractures their consciousness into a greater state of disempowerment and separation. So while the energy practices of Reiki can often be beautiful, and it taught me a lot about tuning in, feeling, and working with energy, I can't practice it in good faith anymore. And my higher self made it abundantly clear that there is only one energy that should ever be pulled into someone's energy system. And to access that energy, I was given a very simple intention, and that is to call forth the truth of what they are, the truth of who they are, where they are directly connected with the truth of all things. That's my intention statement with any energy work that I do. By accessing the point of truth, the truth of who they are, the truth of what they are, where they are connected with the truth of all things, we take all of the human understanding out of it, and we simply allow their soul and their body and their energy system to do what it naturally knows how to do, to expand, adapt, and allow them to embody their own true soul blueprint. On top of all of this, this is way easier for the energy facilitator. The facilitator doesn't have to do nearly as much work, and it allows the system of consciousness for the client to actually step into empowerment, to shift upwards in vibration, and to fulfill what it's naturally here to do. It leaves the client more empowered, authentic, and aligned with the energy of who and what they actually are. I hope this makes sense for anybody into Reiki. I don't hate Reiki. It's not bad. However, it is an incomplete map, and it was made very clear to me by my guides and my higher self on how to tap into a fuller picture that supports clients with lasting results and doesn't reinforce patterns of brokenness or healing. Additionally, I always make sure every single one of my clients understands that it is not a healing session, that they are not broken, and that this is simply a space for them to experience the energy of what it feels like to remember their own wholeness, to remember who they were before they ever felt broken. And that my role is to simply guide them and support them in having that experience, never to fix them, never to heal them, and never to remove anything. Another practice that often happens in energy healing sessions is the removal of blockages and the removal of obstacles and the removal of stuff that no longer serves us. But if we're removing things, we're removing parts of a perfect and whole consciousness. Every part of self, even the negative parts, is a part of self that is in service to that consciousness. Who are we to try to remove it? Instead, we simply need to focus on the remembrance of wholeness, and every part of self will naturally restructure and reintegrate into its perfect place, where it is in full alignment, and no part of self is ever discarded or gotten rid of. Because getting rid of a part of self, getting rid of a blockage, getting rid of a part of you that no longer serves you, simply implies to that part of self that it is not worthy and not good enough, which compounds so many of the issues. I hope this makes sense, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.